O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Outdoor adventure won't wait for engine problems. Things like hard starts, rough performance, and lost fuel economy are often caused by fuel gum and varnish buildup. Seafoam can help your engine run better and last longer. Simply pour a can in your gas tank. Hunters and anglers rely on Seafoam to keep their engines running the way it should the entire season. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit seafoamworks.com to learn more.
There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
As a guide and hunter, I've spent thousands of days in the field. This show is about translating my hard-won experiences into tips and tactics that'll get you closer to your ultimate goal, success in the field. I'm Remy Warren. This is Cutting the Distance. This podcast is presented by Yeti, built for the wild. If you've been hunting with a buddy, let's say you both have tags for elk, general area. You're out there, you're hunting, you run into a group of bulls. There's 4 bulls in there. Now the scenario is, and I know I've encountered this many times, why don't we both try to get one? Because that is the best case scenario in this situation. We call it a double. Now if you've ever tried to get a double, you might have realized that it's a little harder than expected. Now there's a saying, a bird in hand is better than 2 in the bush. While that might be true, I honestly believe 2 birds in 2 hands, no bushes, that's the best scenario. Now, over the years, especially while guiding, I've tried some things, seen a lot of things that do not work that well that you have probably tried. So what I'm going to do is tell you the method that works the best and how next time you're presented with the chance for a double, you can come out 2 birds, 2 hands. If I think about it, I've had many times where I've had the opportunity to be a participant in a double. If I'm thinking of just stories that I was going to tell, Dall sheep with my dad in Alaska, that worked out. I can think of a time that didn't work out, Aoudad with my buddy Brennan in New Mexico. And then I can think of an accidental double. Now, you got to stay with this story because that might sound bad. Like, what happened? How was it an accident? So I was hunting in Montana, general area. Me and my buddy Brett going out. I actually had a deer tag as well. So we thought, we'll go look to this spot for deer and then maybe head out for elk. Kind of hunting both at the same time. Whatever. And then my 2 brothers and dad went out hunting that day too, but we kind of split up. I had my own plans. They were doing their thing. So me and Brett get to a spot mid-morning. Got a group of cows came out below us. Are glassing. No bulls. Spikes in there, no legal bulls. Didn't see really any mule deer, so I thought, let's go to this other area. It's a ways away, but man, it's Thanksgiving Day. We're kind of going to maybe be back for Thanksgiving that day, but we decided, let's just go hunt the evening in this other spot. Just check it out, see what happens. So we get to that new spot. We start glassing, and it's just dead over there. It's like nothing's going on. I'm glassing one direction, and I hear a shot off in the distance. Sounded like off in the distance. Well, there's a big burn right there. So let's go see what's going on. Just head up there, who knows? Maybe we'll see something coming our way. Me and Brett walk up that direction, start going up the ridge, and here comes a lone bull elk trotting across the hill. Doop-de-dooing around, as I like to call it. Looking back, trotting. Now at this point, he's coming toward me, so I set up. There's a dead tree in the burn that's fallen over. I get my rifle set up, and I'm just going to wait. And he's definitely going away from where that shot came from, but not really paying a lot of attention. The bull was working across the hillside. I just follow him with my rifle, and he just stops in the open. I've got a clear backdrop. I can see everything. I put the crosshair right where it's supposed to be, squeeze the trigger, and the bull drops. Boom. It's snowy. He hits the ground and just slides down a little ways into the canyon. I'm thinking, sweet, that was awesome. That worked out great. I walk up to the bull, go take care of it, and I see some guys across the canyon in their hunter's orange. So I pull up my binoculars and I look, like, no way. That's crazy. The guy that shot the other bull happened to be my brother, who I had no clue was even hunting up there. But he shot a bull, and then the bull that I ended up shooting was the other bull that was with his bull, just walking away after he shot his bull, kind of looking back and distracted by them. I was like, sweet. I yelled across the canyon, "Hey, Jay." He looks up, he sees me in his vinyl. He's like, this is awesome. We end up getting our bulls down to the road below, whole. And it's Thanksgiving Day. We were supposed to be back to Thanksgiving dinner at, right around dark. It's midnight by this point. We've got 2 whole bull elk in the back of the truck, just happy as can be. The whole family missed Thanksgiving dinner. There was no service, so no one really knew that we were going to miss Thanksgiving. I feel like this is a very timely story because Thanksgiving's just right around the corner. It's a great day to be out hunting, and a great excuse to miss dinner is having 2 bull elk down on what I would consider an accidental double.
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there because they're great and they're super friendly, and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater.
We've all seen plenty of gadgets and fads come and go, but here's one product that stood the test of time: Seafoam Motor Treatment. Lots of hunters and anglers know that Seafoam helps engines run better and last longer. It's really simple. When you pour it in your gas tank, Seafoam cleans harmful fuel deposits that cause engine problems. I'm talking common stuff like hard starts, rough engine performance, or lost fuel economy. Seafoam is an easy way to prevent or overcome these problems. Just pour a can in your gas tank and let it clean your fuel system. You probably know someone who has used a can of Seafoam to get their truck or boat going again. People everywhere rely on Seafoam to keep their trucks, boats, and small engines running the way that they should the entire season. Help your engine run better and last longer. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit SeafoamWorks.com to learn more.
There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on FishingBooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
I've got 3 double scenarios. We're going to call it worst, better, best. Now, as a hunting guide, we've got this thing, it's called 2-on-1 hunt. So it's 2 hunters per 1 guide. Most of the times I've been guiding have been that. And most of the times that you get an opportunity, you also have another opportunity or the potential for another opportunity. Over the years, I've learned that the scenario that pops into most people's head on how to make this happen is the worst scenario, okay? That's what I like to call the 1, 2, 3. That's where you try to shoot at the same time at 2 animals. Here's the problem with that. And the reason I got to lay out all these scenarios is to kind of change your thinking of what works and what doesn't just based on experience. So the 1, 2, 3. Here's the problem with it. What you need to make a perfect shot is the animal to be in the perfect position so you can make an ethical shot. Now, if you're 1, 2, 3ing, first off, the count is often off. Second, it's really hard to line up 2 animals with 2 people and coordinate in that 3 seconds. Meaning, oftentimes, one will be out, the other one will be just slightly away. One will be broadside, one will be quartered in. To get both animals broadside and then say 1, 2, 3, and both people shoot at the same time, there's a lot of organizing going on. And I don't know about you, but I can't even organize a closet. So to get 2 guys to shoot an animal perfectly and ethically at the same time, there's a lot of things that need to go right for that scenario to work. One person in that scenario will end up having to rush a shot or not have a good shot, or both people will be trying to shoot at the same time. And instead of getting 2 birds in 2 hands, you're going to get no birds in no hands. Back to that analogy that we all know. You get too distracted, things don't go right, both people mess up, you end up getting nothing, or someone ends up making a bad shot, or somebody doesn't get a shot, and then nobody gets a shot. I've seen that play out more times than not. It's just through experience. I know for a fact that's the worst scenario. So that was worst. Now let's talk about the better scenario. The better scenario is essentially the modified 1, 2, 3. Because the 1, 2, 3, you don't have the right timing. So the modified 1, 2, 3 is a system where you start counting down from 10 out loud. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And when you hit 5, you both start counting in your head. 4. So now this part's in my head. And you're going to hear it, but it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But you're keeping the same cadence because you have a rhythm going for the first 5. The second 5 you have going. I will say this. When you do that, generally both rifles go off at the same time, which is what you want. However, I also think in that scenario, you have to have one designated shooter and the other person that if they don't have a shot, just has to stop. Now, if both animals present an ethical shot and you can start this 10 countdown, it's a lot better because both rifles go off at the same time, but you aren't worried or rushing each other to try to make the shot. Now, while that might be better than the 1, 2, 3, I still do not recommend that. There's a lot of room for error. So now we're going to talk about best. The best way to get a successful double. 2 birds, 2 hands. And probably the most ethical way. I call it the shoot on report. But the shoot on report, to be successful, what that is you have a first shooter and a second shooter. This works nearly every time if the first shooter does their job right. What does that mean? If the first shooter drops the animal that they're shooting at, generally, animals that are associated with a herd especially the male animals. It works really well with sheep. Rams are extremely susceptible to this. It works great with elk, and it also works great with mule deer, especially later in the season. If you drop the first animal, the others will often stand around and look or watch that animal. Now, it involves the first person making a perfect shot, and that's what you want in any hunting scenario anyways. This will give the second shooter time to line up and have a shot before they run off. Now, it's often a small window, but what it does is it gives the first person the bird in hand and the second person an opportunity. If the first person misses or doesn't drop the animal right away, then you probably won't have that second opportunity. If the animal just drops, I would say, in my experience, 90% of the time, the second shooter will get a good shot. Now, how do you make the setup work? Step 1, get into position and close enough where you can both communicate. But the second shooter needs to be either wearing ear protection or hopefully away from the muzzle blast enough, because the times I've run into trouble is when somebody has a muzzle brake next to you, they pull the trigger at the first one, and the sound and concussion from that rifle essentially disorients the person next to them. Now, if you can avoid that, this method tends to work. I've had it work personally on many accounts. I've also, while guiding, set it up for this scenario and said, this is what we're going to do, and it's worked out more times than not. We've all had these scenarios. If you hunt with people a lot, you're going to run into this possibility where you could both be successful. But a lot of times people aren't successful because they try the 1-2-3 method. So I think we're going to call it a modified shoot on report. It's where the first person drops the animal and the second person will get a shot because the animals are distracted, seeing one that's there having just dropped, trying to figure out what's going on and not necessarily knowing where that sound's coming from. This is the most successful way to pull off an intentional double, unlike my accidental double, which happened to be this same method, just unaware of it. Now, with anything, I can give you these tips, but you also have to consider the ethics involved, and everything is situational. What you don't want is the two birds in the bush scenario. So if you're the second person shooting, you always have to consider whether you have time to make a perfect lethal shot or not. It's better to let the first person shoot and focus on making that one perfect shot than you rushing them and trying to get a shot off, or vice versa, both people rushing and trying to get a shot off. Like I said, the bird in hand is always the best scenario. My setup for the double is getting that bird in hand, a good shooter making a good shot, and then the second person taking a good ethical shot based on that animal being distracted by the first animal that dropped. I think that that's the most ethical and easiest way to get a double. Now, it's great because you're both successful, but you also have to consider the fact of now you have two animals to pack out. With elk, that can be difficult. If you've got horses, you're in luck because you can bring them in once and take them both out. It's pretty cool to be able to celebrate with your hunting buddy at the same time. So if the opportunity presents itself for this modified shoot on report, give it a try. I think that you'll find it's the most successful and most ethical way for you both to have success on the same day. Next week, I want to talk about a tactic that I think gets overlooked by mule deer hunters. It's going to cover calling and rattling in bucks. Now, if you're a sage whitetail hunter, you know this tactic works extremely well during the rut. But I think a lot of Western hunters definitely overlook it. I want to tell you a story of a time that I used it with great success. And then I want to go into a few of the tactics that I use for rattling deer and calling deer. And it also can translate to whitetails as well. So I think you'll want to tune into that. Until next week, don't 1-2-3. We'll be right here. Catch you later.
Outdoor adventure won't wait for engine problems. Things like hard starts, rough performance, and lost fuel economy are often caused by fuel gum and varnish buildup. Seafoam can help your engine run better and last longer. Simply pour a can in your gas tank. Hunters and anglers rely on Seafoam to keep their engines running the way it should the entire season. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit seafoamworks.com to learn more.
You ever get that feeling the walls closing in, the concrete jungle suffocating you? You crave some wide open spaces, the chance to connect with nature, maybe in a spot all your own. Well, head over to land.com. They've got ranches, forests, mountains, streams, you name it. Search by acreage. You can search by location. You can search by the kind of hunting and fishing you're dreaming of. Land.com. It is where the adventure begins.